Now get ready for Watching Weird, your ultimate destination for mind-bending movie reviews and recommendations. From hidden gems to cult classics, we explore it all. Hosted by storytellers and cinephiles Alan Gamboa, Scott Baker, Rich Restucci, and Hadley Thorne, with a special shout-out to Landis Aldana and Alan Lasseter for their incredible support that help us keep the lights on at Weird. Now grab your Coke, popcorn, and tinfoil hat, and let's get weird.
Evening, everyone.
Weird.
We're always weird.
How's everybody today?
Good.
I love doing this on Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the 9 o'clock versus the 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Definitely.
Especially today, it doesn't matter to me because they already canceled school for tomorrow. But usually, when I have to stay up till 11 o'clock, that ruins the next day for me.
Well, why didn't y'all say something sooner?
Because it worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah.
This is just
For sure.
preferable. And there was a time where I would not have been able to do it on Wednesdays, but now I can. So, and it's actually preferable for me than Thursday.
Yes. Hi, Greg.
Hey, Craig.
And it doesn't compete with Thursday night football during the season. So
There's the
because I know.
Thursday night football.
Yeah.
Many years now.
Yeah. I know Max and Landis sometimes had a problem getting to the show because of that. So we don't have to worry about it.
Well, so
Unless
who's
they
going
start-
first?
I'd like to do Sicario last.
Okay. Let's do Old Country or No Country for Old Men first.
Sure, we can do that. Do you want to jump right into it, or do you want to wait till some people get here and we can just bullshit until
Hey, Landa.
Hey, Landa.
What do you want to do? You want to do it right away?
Well, if you hadn't asked,
Alan.
just jump into it. But now, like, we need to wait.
Let's give them 2 minutes, right?
Yeah,
It's 9:03. We'll give them till 9:05. We've got.
I reminded them today.
Gary, 1, 2,
At Mardi
3.
Gras Ball in Bay St. Louis this weekend. What are y'all doing?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I am going to a Mardi Gras Ball in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi this weekend.
Nice.
I will probably, Rich and I will probably be digging out. We're supposed to get another storm on Sunday.
I don't like
Well-
the snow. I'm sorry that that's happening to y'all.
It is what it
Hey,
is.
Doc.
We're used to it.
Yeah.
Well,
One
I
of, the
What
guys,
you do?
one of the guys showed up at work the other day with just a T-shirt and a denim shirt on. It was like he's a New Englander.
That's
Yeah,
what I wear during
yeah.
the day, the t-shirt. Unless it gets real cold, and then I'll put on a sweater.
And you never know with our school. I went into one of the classrooms yesterday. It was 86 degrees. We were
Jeez.
opening the windows to try to cool it off.
That's warm.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't run any heat today. I didn't run any heat today in the house at all. So,
The heat has
and
to
it's
stop
weird.
in this house. I mean, I have a fireplace and I keep it going, but
We haven't
the heat,
we haven't got any snow. Well, you guys got all the snow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it
we got
hasn't been
one
too bad. We're
one
getting.
snowstorm.
Oh,
We're
Georgia
getting
and
here's
Florida
one
got
for the peanut gallery. We're getting like short bouts of 2 inches, kind of like Max, But it hasn't been terrible.
well, I think I told y'all that's the most snow I've ever seen in Mississippi that we had here.
Yeah.
And now I'm
Yeah.
living at the beach. I'm less than 2 miles from the beach, and we had 10 inches of snow. We had the most snow down here.
Yeah, it's a weird winter for us.
You know, it was
definitely
always
for
funny
you.
living in Florida. An inch of snow could screw up that state for like 2 days. But, Cat 5 hurricane, let's go on to Waffle House.
Let's have a party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely different down here. I was glad that we don't have the Florida trouble of the iguanas freezing in the trees and falling down on people.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'd crap my pants if that happened.
I-
Ooh,
Anacondas
I hate lizards.
falling from the sky.
windshield in your car and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
You want me to start?
9 people watching.
Yes.
Let's go.
Do it.
So we're going to
Welcome
talk
everybody.
about No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, that was mine.
Yes.
I was fortunate enough to
Dan.
get that.
Well, I gotta tell y'all, I didn't get a lot done this week, but I did watch No Country for Old Men, and I had really wanted to rewatch it, so I was happy when we had it come up this year. Rich, what did you think about this movie?
Well, I'll tell you, 2007's No Country for Old Men stars Josh Brolin, Javier Bardem, and Tommy Lee Jones. There's several bit parts played by Woody Harrelson, Garrett Dillahunt, who's one of my favorite actors, and Kelly
Mine
MacDonald,
too.
and Stephen Root.
Yes.
The book is written by Cormac McCarthy and the movie's directed by the Coen brothers. The film revolves around a case full of money that Josh Brolin finds in the desert in 1980 after a drug deal has gone bad with everybody at the scene dead or dying. Brolin takes the money, and the Cartels and Bardem, who plays a ruthless hitman, are on Brolin's tail for the whole film. Bardem's main weapons are suppressed, and he has a pretty nifty suppressed shotgun, but the crux of what everyone is going to remember is that he uses an air-powered cattle killer to get the job done a few times. Kind of silly, really, until you realize there are no real ballistics to track this type of weapon, but at the same time, he has to carry around a friggin' air cylinder to power it, and it would be damn easy to pin a murder on a dude who's carrying one of those around. So, I don't know. It was novel, but at the same time, kind of dumb. The average person is going to think that Brolin makes a bunch of smart moves while evading the bad guys, but in reality, his biggest mistake was taking the damn money. This is the first time I had seen this film, and it had great reviews, including a 93% rating from Rotten Tomatoes and being nominated for 8 Academy Awards, winning 4 of them. Those 2 accolades should tell you all you need to know about this film because it is a fucking snooze fest.
Yes.
I could not wait for this boring flick to end, and I will also can't wait to never watch it again. I consider both my trio of miscreant compatriots and those of you in the peanut gallery who show up every week to listen to our wonderful show family. Really, I love all of you guys. You make me a better person. To that end, I really don't want you to think less of me because I dislike this movie, because I know that a lot of people love it. There are some decent aspects. Bardem does play a great villain, even if his dialogue lends to a nihilistic fatalism. That said, if you haven't watched this film and plan to, either watch it while you're making dinner so you won't fall asleep, or just before bed so you can get some well-needed rest. There are some tense moments, especially when Bardem is tracking Brolin at a motel, then again at a hotel. The hotel scene pissed me off because Brolin sits on the bed with his shotgun directly across from the damn door that he knows the hitman is behind, lending to my opinion that Brolin's character is in fact a moron. I'm guessing none of you read the book, but if you have, then you'd know that the book is all about Tommy Lee Jones' character, where the film focuses on Brolin and Bardem, with Bardem's character being a real focus, as his nonchalant penchant for murder is depicted extremely well, even when he brutally strangles a young cop with a pair of handcuffs. That was a pretty awful scene. It lasted a minute. Bardem's coin flipping in order to decide if someone lives was supposed to increase tension, but it was actually lacking in intensity. I just thought it was kind of dumb. None of the decent action or tension saved this film for me, though, as I caught myself several times doing the Szechuan head bob, and almost nodding off. The action sequences are okay, with the violence receding as the film moves forward, but the slow pace and weak dialogue interspersed between the action sequences are too long. Yeah, I know this isn't an action flick, but come on, it just wasn't captivating. I believe I will be in the minority on this one, as this film has a decent cult following and did really well at the box office, but I'll never watch it again. What do you guys think?
Can I go before I lose my train of thought? Because I'll lose my train of thought.
Go
Definitely.
ahead.
This movie, I liked it up until the end. You're right, though, it was slow. I'll give you that. His choices were dumb. Llewellyn Moss, I would, if I touched that money, I would at least look for a tracker. Of course, that's 1980, but this guy's a Vietnam vet, 2 tours, so he should have been a little, onto something. I love the scene where he comes across all those dead Sicarios and drug runners and all that. I thought that was cool. I thought that looked neat. I'd love to put something like that in a book.
But that
This had a great support. Huh?
Right there, you see a bunch of dead Mexicans on the Mexican border, blood everywhere. You're probably already gonna die, but taking that money just ensures it, so you don't do it.
Oh yeah,
Leave that shit
but
and run.
But you got to remember too, this is 1980 and it's kind of new. I mean, it's kind of a new situation for people. But I agree. I wouldn't have gone and tracked some dude down because I think he's got the money. I mean, why did he even think that though? You know, I would have thought I'm gonna beat feet and get out of here. That's what I would have thought. But this movie has a great supporting cast. I love the dialogue between Garrett Dillahunt and Tommy Lee Jones. I love their banner. They weren't dumb cops.
No.
You know, they were pretty sharp, picking up on stuff. Woody Harrelson, always good. He's always good, and except for Venom 2, I didn't like him in Venom 2, but he was great in this. You know, and when he knew he was going to die, and he's trying to talk his way out of it a little bit, you know, I like that. And then you had Stephen Root as what he's like an executive bad guy or whatever. You know, Stephen Root from Dodgeball, a news radio. He always plays a comedic role, except for that Hitman series on HBO with that comedian. I can't think of the name. Anyway,
Bill Hader,
yeah. And Beth Grant played Carla Jean. You know, she always plays kind of a rednecky mom or female type. You know, she's just the minor characters. Tess Harper playing Tommy Lee Jones' wife. I know I'm nerding out, but I think she was in a movie back in the 80s with Tommy Lee Jones where they were love interests. I think that. Anyway, the end of this was dumb. The end of it sucked. It's like, you know, it's like, we're going to do it, honey. We're going to do it. Oh. And that it's over. It's like, okay, I get why did he retire? Because he's getting afraid. You know, Barry Corbin was great as his cousin.
I think it's his cousin.
Relative. Yeah. Barry Corbin's always good to see him. You know, the dude was born a cowboy. You know, always good to see him. But it just, I get it. He's old. Times are changing, evolving. But the ending on it was and Josh Brolin's death in it was a throwaway.
Yeah, it was exactly.
I didn't even realize that was him laying in the doorway. I thought it was a Mexican dude.
I couldn't believe it. Same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, so there's a lot of things I liked about this movie, but I'll never watch it again. And you know, the thing with Cormac is like the movie The Road. It's a downer. I mean, it's you know, it's an apocalypse movie I'd never watch again, you know, because it's a downer. I don't want to see a downer apocalyptic movie. I want to see one where
we want to see a happy apocalypse.
Yes, a happy apocalyptic movie.
If you haven't read the book, The Road, definitely read the book.
I haven't read it. No.
Way better than the movie.
So the adaptations of his books are not as good as his books.
I'm jumping in here. I'm putting my hat in the ring, and I'm going to say, I think everybody on this panel needs to watch this movie a second or third time because
I've seen it twice.
It gets better.
No.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
I'll watch this because
I'll tell you what.
I went to the movie at the theater. I went to the movie and I was underwhelmed like most of y'all are, but I don't think it was a drama. I think this is a black comedy, and it has some really funny parts. If you pay attention to it and you read it, it is shot and even looks like a drama or action film, but that's just not what this movie is.
Agreed.
Well, I've seen it twice. I did like it on second viewing better because I took in all the supporting performances, which I appreciate.
I did not remember that Woody Harrelson was in it. I did not remember the border guard guy, and that whole scene was worth the whole movie. The border guard when Josh Brolin crossed back over in his hospital gown. That was a great.
Yeah, this was written. Well, this was written by the Coen brothers, who I love most, not all, but most of their stuff. And it was directed by Dennis Villeneuve, who did the new Dune movies. And so it had Javier Bardem and Josh Brolin are both in that. Javier Bardem was excellent in this. He was so
the character Anton Chigurh.
Chigurh, yeah.
One of the most impactful cinematic villains for me. I mean, just I don't know if it's the Little Lord Fauntleroy hair or what, but he, with the pasty skin, he is just terrifying. And
Little Lord
know,
Fauntleroy hair.
he's
That's awesome.
a man. He's married to Penelope Cruz, one of the most
Yeah.
beautiful women alive, and he's so creepy, fucking creepy. And I'm dropping my F-bomb for you, Craig. In this movie, he's just when. What was it when he's killing the guy, the sheriff's deputy?
Yeah,
And he
that was
he's
vicious.
cloning, and then he just the look on his face when he's got the guy in the death grip on the floor. It's just almost
yeah.
like having an orgasm.
He's an ecstasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so creepy. But
Well, I'll say
think-
one more thing. I'll say one more thing, Hadley. Then I'm going to shut up. The scene at the gas station with the gas station attendant. That is one of, besides that scene in the Fargo series where Tom Hanks Jr. is crossing paths with Billy Bob Thornton and he's going to die, but he doesn't. That scene right there is just great in this. You know, I love that scene. Yeah, the coin toss thing is kind of, but just, you know, this guy is out of his depth.
Yeah.
You know, and you know the menacing nature of Aviar Barton, what he's really getting at. And this guy is slowly catching on, you know, and someone's walked over that guy's grave by the end of that scene.
This
And
is
it's
one
just,
of the things. If you played music behind it, it would change the whole tone because it's actually a dark, funny. You know, the guy just doesn't get it. You know, and it's masterfully
well, I
played.
was gonna say that's a great scene. I saw a TikTok video where Aviar Barton was flipping the guy for fellatio, and it's hilarious. It is hilarious. Anyway, I'm done.
Well, I was just going to say, what do you think makes him so terrifying? Do you think it's
It's his attitude. He does.
Yeah, he's like a lizard.
care. He does not care about human life. He doesn't care.
yeah?
And he's
That's
very
what you said, Happy, the
Worth
creepy portion of it.
And for y'all to watch all those bit character roles that you probably missed the first time, because that's what this movie is worth. And it's just like, and I'm going to quote the scene where at the end when the Josh Brolin character is walking by the pool, you know, and it's the whole, hey, you want to get here with me? Well, I know what that means, and I mean it's funny, but the way they filmed it, it doesn't. I mean, I guess maybe if you know had an edible or three and you sitting there watching it, drinking some beer, maybe you'll get it then. Maybe it seems funnier, but I do think that it is worth watching from a different lens. Scott?
I do not see anything humorous in this movie. I agree with Rich. I agree with Alan. This movie is grossly overrated, in my opinion. It's filled with stupid mistakes. Like, I had no sympathy for the deputy. Yeah, let me tie the guy up and put him in a chair over there, and I'm gonna look at the phone and not watch him. He deserved to die. I mean, it was his own fault. Josh Brolin, I can almost see him, oh, gee, I can get some money and get out of this hellhole. I could buy that. Then he goes back to give the guy a bottle of water. How bloody ass stupid can you be? You know, it's just from there on in, Josh Brolin was just like, you deserve what you get. Too many long scenes. They way played out that whole tracking down the guy with the money. The ending scene. What the hell was that? It just left it. You have no clue. You have to assume that that the bad guy gets away with it. They don't give you any meaning. I don't understand the scene where he goes to see his mentor. Could have been cut out of them. I was thinking watching this, they could have easily shaved 30 minutes or more out of this movie. I agree with the one scene that I thought was really good that was drawn out, and it should have been, was the scene at the hotel when he's slowly walking around trying to get to
that was
people.
creepy.
That was perfect. But like you said, Josh Brolin knows he's out there and he sits on the bed right in front of the door. I mean, come on. Josh Brolin in this movie is an idiot. He deserved everything he gets. The only thing I liked about this movie was the cast. I think Tommy Lee Jones did a great job as a frustrated cop who wants to retire. Josh Brolin was okay. Stephen Root was pretty good. Woody Harrelson was good. But he's the best. I can't think of the actor's name who plays the bad guy.
Javier Bardem.
He reminded me, like you said, the scene when he's strangling the cop and he looks like he's having an orgasm. It reminded me of the scene in oh God, what was the one with the Hannibal Lecter, the Silence of the Lambs? Remember when he's beating the cop to death with the cane and he just with the billy club and he looks like he's about to have an orgasm? That is the only reason the actors that I will give this a 2 and not a 1.5.
Yeah. Well, Hallie, do you have more to say on this?
I am in the minority on this. This is it's not the best movie, but for acting, it really is a good movie. I think you have to look at it from a different perspective than what you walked in, because this movie is not what you walked in expecting. And like I said, I went to see it at the theater and I hated it. It was like, because you think that Josh Brolin is the main character. He's not. You find that out at the end. And it's like Rich said, the Tommy Lee Jones character all along is the main character. He's just telling the story. So you're getting the story from his lens.
Now, I have one question. I don't understand when one of them breaks into the hotel room and there's a whole bunch of Mexicans in there. Why were they there?
Because they had a tracker.
They were tracked.
They had tracked. Javier Bardem wasn't the only one with the tracker.
Okay.
They had two. And in fact, if you remember back to the scene when Javier goes out with the two, I think they were Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
It's back to the death scene.
Yeah.
He finds that tracker.
Yeah.
And he's like, does this work? And the guy's like, yeah, well, you need to be in range. And then he kills the both.
Yes.
So
yeah.
He wasn't the only one with a tracker, nor was he the only one searching for that money.
Right. Okay, that makes sense now. Landa, do not jinx him.
Look at him sit on the couch.
Yeah. Looking at me, waiting for me.
I mean, this had the feel of a Hell or High Water a little bit, Tyler Sheridan's movie.
Yeah, I think that's a much better film though. Hell or High Water.
Yeah. It's better. I don't like the way it ends, but yeah, it's better. Definitely. This,
Again,
like you said, Hadley, the acting in this is just superb. As far as,
and it's what kind of saved Josh Brolin. It put him on the map.
Mm-hmm.
He hadn't really done much since Goonies, if y'all remember, and he's phenomenal. He's in everything now. And I've been seeing a lot of them on some of the talk shows and podcasts that I watch and listen to. So I had wanted to can't speak. I want to see this again. And it was because, he was talking about how he did not have any money when this was made. And he was basically living paycheck to paycheck. And this movie came along and they were asking him if he knew it was going to be a hit. And he said no. And he only made very little for this movie, but again, resurgence of his. I guess it did for him what Pulp Fiction did for Travolta.
Well, I think Villanueva really appreciated him because he, included him in the Dune trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
So that helped too. Because I don't think Josh Brolin. I've seen interviews with him, and he's not someone that'll work with anybody, I forgot there's a famous director that wanted him to do a movie and he kept telling him no. And the guy kept trying to get him in his movie and he just wouldn't do it, work for the guy. So I think he's a little choosy too on some of his roles. You know.
Well, and that's
Hey,
not.
Craig says, "Huh? I'm sorry."
There's nothing wrong with being picky. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's really. I think it's a well done movie. I hate that y'all won't give it a second or third chance because, like I said, when I rewatched it tonight, it was in stages because, like I said, I'm in the middle of a big project at work, but I kind of savored it, and when I savored it, it was just, really well done. But, so I've got a couple of
It's a
questions.
movie.
My question is: the film plays with the idea of justice and fate. Do you think Sheriff Bell was right to retire, or did he give up too soon?
Right to retire or what?
Did he give up too soon?
No, he
That
should.
was kind of the theme, was that he felt like it was a losing battle with evil.
Yes,
Yeah,
I agree. He's never going to win this one. Even if he stayed there for another 20 years, they'd never stop all of this. It was time for him to retire and enjoy life. Though I love the way he wasn't enjoying his retirement in that last scene.
Yeah, I think like you, Scott, it was a much longer term battle against evil, and there's no way one guy can do that, especially in the area that he was, where there's not a lot of cops. It's just he's in charge of a huge square area, and it's an area where life is cheap. So it's just I'm with you. I don't think so.
Well, that brings the next question, which is, if this film was made in current times, because this was, we've said, set in the early 80s, right?
Yeah, 1980.
So if it was set in today's society, what do you think would be different?
All the cops would be dead. All the cops, the cartels would have either made the cops cartel or killed them. There's just too much of that down there now.
Yeah.
So it's
they probably would have caught Javier Bardem quicker though.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't worried about
4-foot cylinder.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot more.
Let me bring my arm.
There'd be a lot more police down there, but there'd be a lot more crime, a lot more killings, a lot more drugs.
Well, let me bring my iron lung. Let me bring my iron lung with me to kill you.
Well, it's also built up more. Like Juarez and Nogales down there, they're like large cities now. So it's built on the Mexican side. On the American side, it's not built up too much. But those cities go right up to the border.
Yeah. Yeah. It would have been a different movie totally.
Agreed.
Totally different.
What are you guys going to rate it?
2.
Lost?
I want to give it a 4.5. I think people should watch it.
What about you, Big Mike?
I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it 2.5 because of the supporting actors in it. I hated the ending. The ending just was like, really?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2.
I think that's one of the things that we should discuss is how do we rate our movies? Because for me, it isn't necessarily if I loved it. It's the value of it overall.
Yeah, but to me, most of the value of the film is in the enjoyment of it. That's. I mean, if it's going to make me a smarter or better person, it'll get a star for that. But this was it was too slow for me.
Yes,
and it didn't have to be. If, like you said, Scott, if they cut out half an hour out of this movie, it would have been much better. But it was just too slow getting to the good stuff.
Yeah,
and the good stuff could have been better.
But I
would
think
have nailed it.
An action movie, and that's just not what this was.
Hey, I'm all for a good drama. I am.
Yeah,
I don't mind a good drama. This wasn't that. It just didn't.
It wasn't either.
I'm not saying it should have been an action movie, but it took so long for Josh Brolin to find the guy. And then it took so long for him to decide to go back. And then it took so long for this. Then there was a scene in here. It was like I don't know. I just was losing interest.
Yeah. I agree. Sorry, boss. This,
This wasn't for us.
you know, I won't watch it again.
No, I won't.
Doc gave it a 1.5. Max gave it a 3.
Well, I was going to give it a 1.5, but the acting was good.
Craig, I
Yeah.
always call him Big Mike. Do you have Big Mike right there, Big Mike?
Yeah, he's off the hook right now. He's
What
taking
she
a
said?
break. He's
And that's why we call him Big Mike.
I just
Mike
lost
envy.
something.
No, I think
Well-
on this mark, and I think that it bears watching if you enjoy watching films. It's a good story. It's good acting. The acting's incredible. It's more for people who are looking for that kind of film.
And who is that?
Me on any given day, you know,
I'm just messing with you.
mood. But I will say this: it was no hobo with a shotgun. It was a much better quality film.
I agree with that.
Yes.
It was hobo with a iron lung.
Yeah. Right? Hit me with a one. Anyway, let's move on. We've been on this for more than a half an hour now.
Oh yeah, shoot.
I want to do
we're
mine
gonna-
last for a reason.
All right.
Okay. So we'll do the French Connection then. French Connection, 1971, based on a true story, based on a book by Robin Moore. This was a big opportunity for Gene Hackman and Roy Scheider. It deals with the heroin trade coming from Marseille into New York City, and two relentless cops' effort to stop it. And this movie is, I remember I saw it 40 years ago, and I thought, wow. I watched it last night, and the thing I loved about it was some nostalgia. New York, what a crap hole it was. Oh my gosh. You see any movies from the late 70s, early 80s, and New York looks like an apocalyptic wasteland. The acting in this is pretty good, but it's the acting you expect from a movie made in the 70s. You know, the acting has evolved. I mean, Gene Hackman's a great actor. You know,
Yes.
in fact, he turned 100 yesterday, I think, or the day before. Roy Scheider, great
Is he
actor.
really that old?
Huh?
Is he really 100?
Yeah, I believe he turned 100 a
95.
day or two ago.
Yeah.
And he was a
Hackman?
Marine. Yeah.
I thought he was 95. Is he 100?
Is he 95? I thought I
Well,
thought I
let's
read he
Hang
turned 100.
on. You talk, I'll look.
Okay, yeah, look. Anyway, his birthday was the other day. I
95.
could be lying. 100 sounds better.
95 years. He
Okay,
was born
95.
in 1930.
Okay. Sorry, folks. But there's a lot of good action in this, but it's a slow, long movie. And the policing is indicative of the time. A lot of racial slurs, a lot of hands-on. I mean, what a decade to be a cop in, you know? I mean, they kick suspects, slam them up against the wall. I mean, anyway. This is directed by William Friedkin, who did To Live and Die in L.A., which is a similar movie, but more modern, and Sorcerer, which is a great movie if you ever watched that, but the guy's driving the trucks through South American desert.
Oh,
Jungle.
Yes.
Jungle. Yeah. Anyway, when it came out, it won all kinds of Academy Awards. And like I said, when I saw it 40 years ago, I thought, wow, this is cool. And watching it now, it's just a slow, long movie. Not a lot of action in it. Some big action scenes, though, actually. And most of those they didn't have permits to do that. Like the train scene, the car crash scene. It's crazy. It's just, you watch this movie and you think, man, the 70s were wild. The 70s were crazy, you know? I really don't have much to say, but this was a movie that was made in the 70s with Gene Hackman. It's a weird movie. It really is, because the flow to it is really weird. And then in the end, Gene Hackman accidentally kills another cop, and that's
No big deal.
Glossed over.
Yeah.
You know, and it. I don't see why this movie got all the awards it did, but it did. There was a sequel. So what you guys have to say about this? I watched it and I was like, I love 70s movies because they're so 70s.
I
You
think
couldn't make those movies today,
I
you know.
think
And
for a
Gene Hackman, huh?
no, I was gonna say I think for a 1970s movie, this was a great movie. You know,
Yeah.
there was all the police. You're starting to get to see what it's really like to be a cop. You know, the arguments between the different forces. You know, all the grit that's going on, the dark places. It doesn't fit today. You know, like you said, this was the first time I saw it. And except for the one scene where he's driving to try to keep up with the train, which I didn't find too exciting. I'm a Bostonian. We drive that way anyways. It wasn't that good. I hated Gene Hackman's character.
You're supposed to.
He was such an idiot. Following the French guy with the beard for hours. It's like, really? You don't think he's eventually going to notice that you're there? You
I
know?
love the in and out of the. I love that scene in the subway where he's in and out, in and out,
Yeah.
in and out.
That's a
And
very
finally, French
famous
guy goes,
scene.
Yeah.
it was dumb. It was so
We're
dumb.
We're trained. I mean, at the agency, we're trained. You got 5 or 6 guys to do it. Now, I understand the reason. He wanted to track this guy down, and he left Roy Scheider. Because I remember the one scene when Roy Scheider's running. And the goddamn assassin. What an idiot. All of these shots, he waits until the woman cat walks in front of him and then shoots the woman instead. I mean, that reminded me of like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
We're watching it. We're watching this guy. Tina goes, "Why? He's dropping his guns all the time." I said, "Yeah, he's French."
But like I said, you know, like in the 1970s, we loved Towering Inferno, Poseidon Adventure, Earthquake. Still good movies, but today they'd be boring to anybody watching them today. And I think this was the same thing. From the 1970s, I think it would have made a great cop movie. But today, I'm not, you know, today it was just like, this is too boring. All right, I'm done.
So, Hadley, do you want me to go, or do you want to go?
You go ahead.
No, all right. So,
Y'all get your opinions. You go ahead.
this movie, I've seen it a couple of times, and it kind of lost its luster this time. It wasn't a bad film. It was just, it wasn't what I remembered. I remembered a completely different thing. It was a movie that I had seen with my dad several times, and he liked it, you know. But I'm watching this movie and I'm listening to the soundtrack, and I'm like, this is just, it's all horror movie music. The whole movie is horror movie music. And I'm like, I'm listening to that and I'm like, that's when the bad guy comes in and he slaughters all the co-eds. And this is when the guy's running away and the car doesn't start. And I'm like, it's just horror movie music. And that music coupled with, like Scott said, like the chase. I remember watching that chase as a kid, and I was enraptured by that chase scene. And this time I watched it and I'm like, that guy doesn't know how to drive. Come on. He's got that Oldsmobile and he can't he can't work magic with it. He's supposed to be this badass cop. Come on. The scene with the going back and forth, like you said, Alan, that is an iconic movie scene, and that's been around for quite a while. But I remember this not being like the action movie that I thought it was going to be when I was a kid. This is worlds better than No Country for Old Men. Worlds better. But it's just like the Peanut Gallery, and like that we're saying, it's dated for sure. Mm-hmm. And I think it's another movie that I'm not going to watch again. Which kind of makes me sad, because my dad and I had seen it, several times before my dad passed away, and I loved it as a kid. I thought it was a great flick, and now I'm just like, I think Roy Scheider's character, he was, the more decent of the two cops, but Gene Hackman was just a dick. He's a bad person. I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to do the right thing, but he went about it the wrong way. He was just vicious and unnecessarily cruel sometimes. But I don't know what being a cop. I don't know how you must get twisted when you're a cop like that. Not that that's an excuse. I'm not making an excuse for him at all. But I can see that happening, especially back then. But yeah, the racial slurs and the way he treated the minorities was just terrible. They were like second class citizens to him, and it was bad. That movie wouldn't fly unless it was a movie about racism today. So yeah, it was okay. I'm glad I watched it, but I won't watch it again. Anyone? Bueller? Adley, you still there?
I'm here. I don't have anything to add. I didn't watch this.
Oh,
okay.
Oh,
I told you I've had a project at work, so.
yeah. This is based on two real cops, Eddie Egan and Sonny Grosso.
Yeah.
And,
so what do we rate it?
I'll give this one a 3.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, I'm still giving it a 2. I was bored with it.
It was a little slow, Scott.
Yeah,
it really was.
And the soundtrack was miserable.
Yeah, it was horror movie music. What the hell were they thinking?
It was like it was worse than the
music.
It was worse than the opening credits of Bosch. That freaking jazz music, man. That was worse than that throughout the whole movie. Anyway, Scott, let's go to yours because we're getting low.
All right.
Doc 2.5.
Sicario is a 2015 movie. It's about the drug trade industry. It was directed by Denis Villeneuve, who did wait a minute, got the wrong one. Who did like Blade Runner 2049, Dune Part 1 and 2. He's got good credits, and it was written by Taylor Sheridan, who was also the creator of Yellowstone. And it's a good story. It's about the drug trade today, and it starts with Emily Blunt. She's she's an FBI agent, and she's trying to track down these hostages that are being held by a drug cartel, and she eventually winds up being assigned to 2 DEA agents, which are in reality probably CIA agents. I got to look at the name. Benicio del Toro as Alejandro and Josh Brolin as Matt Graver. The reason, and I'm not going to go into a lot of details about this, watch it. I never saw this movie, and I'm really upset that it took me 10 years. I think it was, what I loved was we watched French Connection, which was the drug trade in the 1970s, bringing in 120 pounds of heroin. And if anybody was going to get killed in this, boom, shot to, typical mobster stuff, take them out for a cannoli, shoot them in the head. This movie, I think, really accurately portrays the drug trade of today. The scene when they're looking for the hostages, they don't find any in the house. They find, though, eventually all the dead bodies wrapped up and stored between the walls. When they start going across the border to grab the drug cartel leaders with the help of the Mexican police, it is grotesque violence. I mean, the cartels today don't care. And I liked it because I've seen some of the videos that the drug cartels have filmed for themselves and then posted online, and the brutal things they do to the people who stand in their way. I mean, it's horrible. I've never seen anything so disgusting. It ranks up there with the way the Nazis would just shoot people, and throw them in the ditch. But at least the Nazis made it quick. These guys.
You're going to get us pulled. That's one of those words that'll get us pulled, Scott.
What? Oh, those people from Germany from 1945. But it's true. These guys will hack you to death. They'll skin you alive. And I think that was portrayed brilliantly, especially when you find out that Benicio del Toro's family was brutally murdered. I like this. I thought that Benicio and Josh Brolin were excellent. I could see them as the hardcore, boots on the ground type, whether they were DEA or CIA. They knew the score. They knew what they were up against. Emily Blunt, I despised her character, which means Emily Blunt did a great job. She was the idealist FBI agent. We'll go in, we'll arrest them, handcuff them, this will all be over. And she couldn't handle it. The sort of quote Jack Nicholson, you can't, you don't want the truth because you can't handle the truth. I liked it. Like I said, I think it was a very good portrayal of what our people have been going through for the last 10 years with the drug trade. Very impressed with it. I'll probably watch it again.
Boss, you want to weigh in?
Y'all know me. I don't think that Taylor Sheridan puts out crap. All his stuff is good.
Yes.
This is not my favorite of his, but I love me some Benicio del Toro. As I mentioned earlier, I think Josh Brolin is very applauded. He's a great actor. This was a good movie. Again, it's it's no 1863, but damn good. I got a question. And this goes back to one of the questions that Scott had asked, he said, was that Benicio del Toro's character, Alexandro. So do you see him as a hero, a villain, or something in between?
He's an anti-hero.
Something in between.
He's doing the right thing for the wrong reason. This is all about revenge for him, and he wants to just kill as many of them as he can because of what they did for his family. That said, I don't blame him at all.
Yeah, I was going to slightly disagree. He did the right things for the right reason. He wanted to get revenge for what happened.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Morally, no.
The difference between now and then, the mob would never kill a family member. They would take care of you. Now they go after your family members, just like the bad guy, went after the wife in the last movie, No Country for Old Men. I don't blame him, and honestly, I'm sorry, I'm cutting your time. I sided with Josh Brolin and him. I can understand it. I've never worked that difficult stuff. But I can understand when you see that every day, it's just, you've got to fight this inhumanity with inhumanity.
Oh, I totally agree. I didn't say I didn't agree with him in any way. I think he did. I would have, if I had those types of skills, I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Because, you love your family. And when that kind of thing happens, you're just destroyed. And you're no longer the person you used to be.
Yes.
So he was going out of his way to do as much damage as he possibly could to all of those people. And he was good at it. That was the thing.
Yes.
He was very good at it. So he was definitely capable. He was a high-level operator.
Yeah.
He called himself a prosecutor.
Yeah.
Having not seen The French Connection, I cannot put this in this, but one of the things that stands out to me is that both of these movies, No Country for Old Men and Sicario, they present that the war on drugs is unwinnable and morally gray. So do you think this is, especially in today's society, do you think this is an accurate reflection of reality, or do you think it's overly cynical?
I think it's accurately cynical.
I think it was accurate, but it was very accurate, but it did not show the level of violence and gore. It played it down a little bit.
Yeah, This
insofar as the war on
this
drugs, I think, try not to take offense to this, Scott. I think the CIA was all about getting money from drugs back in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah,
And the
I think
80s.
they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the 80s. And I think that they can't really do that with the level of evil and violence that the cartels are capable of. The cartels just
Yeah.
won't deal.
No.
So it's the CIA has stepped in to say, oh yeah, really? You're going to destroy our country? I don't think so. But at the same time, the resources that the cartels have rival the United States
Yes.
just because of the money that has come into them from the United States. From Joe Blow who does his blow.
Yeah.
That's how they get all their money, and now they are set up in every major city in the country. Literally every single one. There's like vast numbers of cartel employees that are just doing what they're told to do. And this is like Topeka, Kansas. You've got cartel members.
I worked with a guy. I'll make this story very quick. He was special forces. He was sent to Colombia to work with the police against the drug lords. And he found out that some of the local cops were working with them. So he went into the chief of police's office and said, some of your guys are working for the drug cartel. And the chief of police opened the drawer and threw him an envelope. He opened it up, and it was pictures of his family in their home and in the backyard back in the States. And my friend was like ready to, show hands. He goes, are you threatening my family? And the cop said, you have no clue. You live in the sheltered United States. Every day, one of my cops gets this and says, work with me and make like $10,000 a month or your family dies. He says, what are you going to do? And my friend walked out of the office and he said that was it. He was out of the drug business because there was no way we were going to win when the cartels have an attitude like that.
Well, that's where we're out of our league in this, we threaten, but we're out of our league in this that way because we're not used to people taking it to our doorstep.
Yeah.
They are,
And they're already here.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're not used to them taking out your family like they are over in their countries. We're not used to that. That's a new thing. So
I had seen Mike Ritland and some other, I guess, ex-Army, ex-military guy talk about defining the cartels as terrorists and the damage that would do. And it was a really interesting podcast. So I suggest anybody that really wants to get a different look at this sort of material to go look at it. So
I mean, we get those threats at work.
Really interesting.
We get those threats at work all the time. I don't know how many times Tina got threats. Hey, my people are going to come by and see you. We get that. And, we didn't know if it was real or not.
Yeah.
But if you come by my house, well.
And if you ever watch the torture videos that the cartel enjoy taking, they take them as selfies like they're a TikTok influencer. They're absolutely disgusting. Some of them even bothered me.
No, I had inmate one time come to me, say, I know where you live. It's like, it's a reality. This movie, I didn't like this movie the first time I saw it. I watched it again. I really enjoyed it. I just, it had all the nuance Taylor Sheridan puts in all his movies. And then you had Jeffrey Donovan as a supporting character, Burn Notice. You don't see him in enough. And that Sheridan does, and I know they're outrageous and they're not accurate a lot, but he does great gun battles as far as fun, as far as watching, that scene at the border where they're getting ready, that was fun. That was fun to watch, from a movie perspective, I thought. Sicario 2 is more of an action movie than this one is. And
I don't think I need
Benicio del Toro's. That's a good one. It's good.
Yeah,
it paints
watch it.
Benicio del Toro's character more as a hero than he is now in this one. There's no real moral ambiguity with his
He's
character,
just
but
so much fun to watch. He's just so good at what he does.
oh yeah,
He's great as a bad guy too.
This, I mean, love him.
Now let me ask you guys this question. I don't want to give away the ending. Would you have done what Alejandro did at the end of the movie?
If I had those skills?
Yeah.
Oh, at the end of the movie.
At the end of the movie, after he gets into the mansion.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had reason to do it. And like I said, it's not a good reason. But at the same time, it's the best reason.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I highly recommend this movie.
You forgot John Bernthal. Got his character.
Yes. And
he shaned it through this one. Yeah. He shaned it through this one. Yeah, I'm glad he wasn't in this, Craig. You would think. I don't even think he's in Sicario 2. I don't even know if he wrote that one, but that's got some good gun battles in that one too.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, it's more of an action movie. Josh Brolin, Benicio, and Jeffrey Donovan are all returned. Emily Blunt does not.
Well, she was pretty much kicked out by Josh Brolin at the end of the last movie.
Yeah.
I didn't hate her character that much. I disagree with her politics on how it works, but I think she understood that, this is how this needs to be done, even if I don't want to do it this way. So I can't do it. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of felt bad for her, but at the same time, you kind of have to know that going in. The moment she landed in Juarez and that happened on the border on the way back, it's time to either nut up or shut up.
Yeah. Well, they even said that one scene in the movie, why did you bring me along? We can't operate in this country without having the locals help us. She was a pawn in their game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
That scene where the...
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Scott. Alan.
Alan.
Oh, I was going to say that scene where that shed blows up. That's just a really good scene. Really riveting. It's just like, bam, you're like, oh my gosh.
What are we going to rate this?
I'll give it a 4.
Yeah, I'll go with that too. I'll give it a 4.
4.5.
Nice. I'll give Sicario 2 a 4.5.
4.5. Look at me. I'm fancy. 4.5.
All right. You guys want better.
Where's your monocle, Scott?
Well, look at Craig.
4.7.
Oh, I'm 4.6. I'm fancy Craig Bolin. What do you give it, Having?
I'm going to give it a 4.
Nice. Pretty highly rated. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Good rating. This one did better with all of us than the other two.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a better movie.
It
really
is.
It
Depends
is.
on you.
Well, it's also more dated. It's more up to date.
I think that's the key. So next week, it looks like we're doing epic historical dramas. Do y'all know what they are?
You do.
Gladiator, Braveheart, and Kingdom of Heaven.
And what?
Kingdom of Heaven.
Oh, Kingdom of Heaven. Is that the one about the...
I love Kingdom of Heaven.
The one
Is that
what?
the one about the Crusades around Jerusalem?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All
And
right.
the
Orlando
original,
Bloom.
and we're talking the original Gladiator with Russell Crowe, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I'm sure we'll talk about the second one, but
I haven't watched it. I won't.
I would say skip it.
Freedom.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week. And yeah. Y'all know.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Happy Wednesday.
All right, Weirdlings, that's all for watching Weird this week. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, the strange and unusual never sleeps. Well, except for maybe on Thursdays. Speaking of sleep schedules, here's a quick reminder about our other shows. Dive into the mysteries of the mind with Weird Awakenings every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cozy up with blondes, books, and campfire tales for spooky stories every other Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hone your craft and connect with fellow writers on Write With Me on the third Sunday of each month. And don't forget, Watching Wyrd now airs live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For all things Wyrd, find us on social media via Linktree in the description below, or visit our website at wyrdrealities.net. Stay weird.